Hi, it's Tuesday, the 24th of September. And actually, we're here to look at astrology. This time, I thought what we'd do is have a little look at the dwarf planets in particular, although I am going to look at the position of the sun and the moon today, so some daily astrology and what it means when they're in square. And then we'll look at the dwarf planets in particular. This is because yesterday I was looking at the important points astrologically for October, and there was quite a lot of energy around Eris, and I somebody then commented, I've forgotten her name, I'm so sorry, about Eris, and so I added some comments to do with Eris, and then I got drawn into looking at the rest of the dwarf planets as well, and it's sort of I thought, I'm going to share this because it's I think it's astrology, it's all interesting to me. Anyway, I'll I see there's a kitten who has just gone to dig in my houseplants behind me there, but I'm just going to try and ignore her for the time being. I may have to pause and stop her, so forgive me. But anyway, so in a minute, I'm just going to share anyway the chart I want to look at. Okay, right. Now, this looks a little strange because what I've done is I've taken out the 7 or 8 planets that you would expect to see, and I have put in all of the dwarf planets and left the sun and the moon in. So let's just look at the sun and moon first. So we've got the sun at 2 degrees of Libra and the moon at 1 degree of Cancer, and it'll be within a couple of hours, it'll be at 2 degrees. Now, that then makes them 90 degrees apart. That's a square. And the other way we know it's a square or an antagonistic angle to each other is because the sun in Libra and the moon in Cancer are both in cardinal zodiac signs, and none of the cardinal signs get on with the others. It's as simple as that. They all have completely different points of view. Anyway, so the moon in its own sign and the sun quite happy in Libra. It's a masculine sign, but nevertheless still square. So what does this mean? And actually, the square sun and moon is something that is really regular. We get 2 a month. However, I always do pick up the discord and the discontent and the tension and the antagonism that happens at this time. There's always something versus something else. Something's backed into a corner. You have to take actions you didn't think that you wanted to take. Okay, so the difference between Cancer and Libra is basically what we're looking at. And we are also looking at the difference between feminine and masculine. So you've got the sun in a masculine sign, and it's a masculine planet. And then you've got feminine, sorry, you just extract. There she is. And then you've got, there she's not. And then you've got the feminine moon in feminine sign Cancer. So first of all, there's the difference. So masculine, outgoing, forthright, upfront, heading outwards always. And then the feminine, more gentle, more sensitive, drawing in. Gravity is feminine and pulls in. And solar energy or radiation is masculine and pushes out. So you get a push-pull effect. And Cancer is all about mothered, and mothering, but also about sensitivity, compassion, family love. It's the first entry of love. It's a water sign. There are 3 of them. And Cancer covers personal love. The next one covers love between a sexual couple, romantic couple. And then the last one covers in transpersonal love, which is a love for much bigger issues, humanity, football, that sort of thing. Bigger stuff than just one-to-one relating. So going back to Cancer, so the issues will be between, I think, and this is how it should play out. So the world of two, Libra, so partners in one-to-one relationships, and issues to do with parents, issues to do with children or parents. There's family stuff in here, and then there's the partner. And it can be all kinds of things around that. But anyway, that's sort of fairly typical stuff for that. Both Libra and Cancer feel that they know all about love and relating. They both think that, but they have completely different views or viewpoints or worldviews on it, because one's a water sign and one's an air sign. And water and air are completely opposite to each other. They are inimical to each other. So air wants to push things away to see them logically, and water wants to cling and pull things to it to not deal with logic at all, to just go with emotions. There we go. Right, I'm just going to briefly now just look at these dwarf planets just to identify the glyphs. A glyph is a squiggle, which represents a planet. And just to look at their situation, we may have to talk more about this tomorrow now, but anyway. Okay, so this first one is Orcus. This is Pluto's symbol upside down. And the reason that that is because when you look, if you were to stand outside of the solar system and look back in and look at the orbit of Pluto going around the sun, you would look at the orbit of Orcus going around the sun that way. They are both representatives of Hades, the underworld, etc., but they have orbits which are absolutely opposite to each other, with the sun in the middle. So anyway, I won't cover that any further. I'll just say there's Orcus. Here's Meki Meki, and this is the one that was the creator god of Easter Island. And what's the most important thing to say about Maki Maki, it's when it was discovered, the discoverer was filled with the excitement of his wife's pregnancy. And he used to lie at night holding his wife's tummy and feeling the baby move. So he was very much wanting to extend out that creation, finding something growing and being created. It was such a fabulous journey for him, such a hugely mysterious but deeply emotional time, that he wanted to invoke creation with the planets that he was discovering. And so we've got there the creator god of Easter Island, Maki Maki. Now, Maki Maki is currently opposite Salacia. Salacia looks like an oyster shell to me. Her distinction is that she was the goddess of the seas, but because women or female at the time was denigrated and was really such a lower class, just above slaves, really, the Romans decided that they needed a male god to rule the oceans. And so Salacia was demoted, and their Neptune, who was actually the god of waterways and horses, was promoted to the god of the oceans, so that they had a Poseidon type image. So Salacia's beef is the fact that she was demoted because she was a woman. So a lot of her dwarf planet key symbolism is around that. Okay, these are opposite in the sky. This is today's chart. These are opposite in the sky, but they'll be in this particular setup for a long, long time. They are square to Kwawa, and Kwawa was a creator god. around the West Coast. And represents land being taken from the indigenous American people. So each of these has a story to tell in terms of being overrun by bigger forces, having to give up power to the bigger force, and having to take a position of subservience as a result. So this particular issue, as I've just described it, has been a topic now for some years, actually, probably 3, 4 years. It certainly brings in the situation with LBGT plus, and it's bringing up maligned and denigrated sections of society. I think in order that they be given their rightful place, and also respected, etc. And I think that that's important, that we start to praise diversity instead of seeing it as some kind of second-class issue. So all of these 3 dwarf planets are dealing with diversity and tribes or kith or kin that have been maligned for an unfair reason. Okay, there's Homea, and she is currently in square to Pluto over here, and she is also opposite to Eris. So we have another T-square going on with the dwarf planets. We've got Homea opposite Eris, square to Pluto. That's that square there, actually. So you can see now that what was trying to get across, these dwarf planets are taking very vivid, alive formations. They're taking square positions, which means they're using 90 degrees, 180 degrees. These are all very powerful and obvious. They're not sort of harmonious or just holding hands and, tripping off to have a drink out together. These have issues. All of these are in cardinal signs. Well, the ones I've just, sorry, this one is in cardinal sign. The Homea Eris Pluto is going in and out of cardinal signs and into fixed signs at the moment. Pluto is going backwards and forwards, and so is Homea. And anyway, so it is quite a strong and vibrant and powerful position that they have. 6 of those planets are in a T-square of 3 planets. And so this is quite extraordinary, to be honest with you. So anyway, I'm going to have to end because I don't want the video to go on too long. So I'll stop sharing. And I'll just want to say thank you for listening. And it's great that you do. And I appreciate that. And don't forget to buy my book, The Easy Way to Learn Astrology. You can get it on Amazon. And don't forget I do readings. And I have a website, alisonchester-lambert.com. And it was lovely to talk to you, and I will speak to you tomorrow. Thank you.